Welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. Before we get started, smash the like button, share, like, subscribe to the page. And without further ado, we're going to get right into this. As you can already see by the title. When you work for a company, whether you work for a company, a football team, basketball team, baseball team, Fortune 500 business, in the industrial, you name it, whatever, grocery store, it doesn't matter. There's rules and regulations to everything that you have to go by. They have handbooks. You have orientations. You have the interview that you've had with the person that you're going to be working for, who's doing the person that you're going to be working for, trying to come onto the job and whatnot. They're going to go through this whole thing. You go through a litany of a bunch of questions, and you're going to go through a bunch of questions thrown at you and about your job, what you can do, what you can't do, this, that, and the other. And then they're going to tell you the do's and don'ts of their job in their trusty handbook that they have and whatnot. Now, once you sign on with that particular, wherever you're going to be working at, you have to go by the particular rules and regulations of that company. That's no different anywhere else. That holds if you work for the government, if you work for McDonald's, and if you are an NFL player, coach, or whatever, especially if you are that of a coach and whatnot. And it's no different. But for some strange reason, I think entertainers, or I'm going to say sports figures, I'm going to stay there because they're a form of entertainment, but they're sports figures. So I look at it different as a Hollywood person or anything like that, or a person that does movies. But, you have guidelines that you have to go by and whatnot. You do have the guidelines and whatnot you have to go by. So therefore, certain things that you can, that just because you make a certain amount of money and a mic is shoved in front of your face all the time, doesn't necessarily mean that sometimes less said is best said. And a lot of times, just because a person shoves a mic in front of your face doesn't mean that you have to say something all the time. Case in point, here Jack Del Rio, when this happened last week, I wasn't going to really do a show on this. I kept hearing about it, and I saw what he did. And I'm just like, man, how did it get here? Now, granted, Jack Del Rio and what he said, the dust up compared to this and that and all this other, compared to the stuff that happened a couple of years ago, after the whole incident, all that stuff went on. But I'm going to get to that. Just give me a second. But Del Rio, known in the business as a solid coach, 93, 94 record, players coach, he's known for more of his defensive coordinator prowess than anything. Solid pro linebacker, and he was good at USC. He was in college and whatnot. But so Del Rio says the things that he says, which makes you wonder about that. When he graduated from USC in '84, use your brain. Like, a lot of times you don't have to say something just to say it. You have a right to say what you want to say. I get it, but this ain't the point. Case in point, everybody feels a certain way about something and has a right to feel a certain way about certain things. Doesn't mean that when you're in the workforce, you're in the workforce. You want your defense to be a championship defense to help propel you to a Super Bowl. Talking about January 6th and all the riots and all that stuff that went on back in 2020 is irrelevant. You should be worried about is Chase Young going to be healthy? Jonathan Allen, is he going to be right? And stuff like that, and the pieces that you got to fix on defense, not all that. So a lot of time, some people just have to just shut their mouth up. But this is the thing, timeline it here. You know what I'm saying? Just timeline it for you right here. And like I say, so if we do this, let's go here. Right? Let's go here. Here we go. This is where it all starts at right here. This is where it all starts. And then it goes to here. Okay? Then we go to here. And then we come here.
Why is it not important to you, like, if your players are concerned by what you said?
Oh, if they are, and they want to talk about it, I'd talk about it with anybody. Yeah, no problem. At any time. but they're not. I'm just expressing myself, and I think we all as Americans have the right to express ourselves, especially if you're being respectful. I'm being respectful. I just asked a simple question. Really, let's get right down to it. What did I ask? A simple question. Why are we not looking into those things? If we're going to talk about it, why are we not looking into those things? Because it's kind of hard for me to say. I can realistically look at it. I see the images on TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust-up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about, we're going to make that a major deal. I just think it got two standards. And if we apply the same standard, and we're going to be reasonable with each other, let's have a discussion. That's all it was. Let's have a discussion. We're Americans. Let's talk it through. I'm for us, having a great opportunity to have a fulfilled life. Like I said, every which way I can. When I'm here, it's about love and respect. I love my guys. I respect my guys. But I also love the fact that I'm an American, and that means I'm free to express myself. And I'm not afraid to do that.
Okay. Now you heard Jack Del Rio say what he said.
Just a clarification. Why is not important to you?
And what he said and whatnot. Now, again, like I say, how do we get here? Well, we got here due to this here with Derek Chauvin and the whole Floyd thing. And then we go from George Floyd thing, and then we go to BLM, Black Lesbians Matter. Black Lives Matter. And then we go over here to January 6th, the dust up, which it was a couple of deaths there that happened there. A little more than a dust up. These jokers broke in, asked to think they was going to really change anything, but we all see what happened there. And then, of course, we get to old Captain Jack. So the point that I'm making here is that none of this would happen if it wasn't because of this. Which brings me to what Del Rio said, and that's fine, he can express himself, and he can express himself, but this is what we're talking about though. We're talking about that is your personal opinion. And just because somebody put a mic in your face doesn't mean that you have to say what you call yourself saying. Yeah, you can express yourself all you want. That's fine. I have no problem really with what Jack Del Rio said, because don't try to make it so much of a black and a white thing. I know black people feel that way about it. I honestly feel that way about it. About, well, that really wasn't this and that and the other compared to the whole Black Lives Matter thing, what they was doing and stuff like that. I'm like, but if anybody gets pissed off and mad that things don't go the certain way, on the other side of the coin, feel like that's wrong and this, that, and the other. This is the guy that you have right here is the reason why statues by Robert E. Lee and Grant and Christopher Columbus and all of them. This is, matter of fact, to be perfectly honest with you, this joker here is the main reason why we have a Juneteenth month. It took literally this to happen for us to end up getting a Juneteenth month, which I don't pay much attention to because, dude, I'm not even going there with you with that one. But that's what happened. This guy, he's the reason for all of this, the dust up. He's the reason for all this. That led to this. That led to this. That now leading to this here. Of a coach now who's in jeopardy. Here's a guy who's been a head coach, and he has been in the trenches and all this other kind of stuff, and been known as a solid defensive coordinator. And you are coaching a business that's 74% blacks, African Americans, Nubians, whatever term you want to call them. And now you got to deal with that. Then you got Ed Reed them coming out saying all kind of stuff. This is the thing. You cannot, it's a time and place for everything. If you feel a certain way about it, fine, but you don't have to sit up there and express that and then express what come with nothing happening and hit you with $100,000 fine. And I don't care how much money you got. I'm quite sure nobody wants to get hit with $100,000 fine. Now, whether you get fined or not, that's none of my business. I don't really care. But I'm like, all of that for that. No, you're at a workplace. You work for the Washington Commanders or whatever they call themselves. That everything is supposed to be about football. That's it. Football. Nothing more, nothing less. If there's some stuff going on out, you can make a comment about it. But when he knew when he said this is going to get under some people's skin. And like I said, I don't see nothing wrong to be said about it. That's his opinion. He has a right to voice his opinion. You can strip all the coach stuff away. He's Jack Del Rio, the father, the husband, and stuff like that. The American citizen. He has a right to say what he wants to say. Which is like Ice-T said once upon a time. The OG Ice-T. Hey, freedom. You got freedom of speech. Just watch what you say. Now it's no different here. Different time that we're staying in now. So we can go on about this kind of stuff. But I say, dude, you at work. And that's one of the things they tell you basically at work. Don't talk politics and you don't talk religion. Those are the two things they don't want you to talk about, especially government places and stuff like that or whatever. But these guys, that's what I say about some of these young guys and these coaches and players and stuff like that. They've been in front of the mics and cameras for a long period of point at times, live, starting in high school through college, going into pro. And they shove a mic up in these guys' faces. And these guys, the press is looking for anything hot to sit up there and sell. And here you are with this situation here. Instead of talking about football, you're talking about, because it's going on, because there's all these hearings that's going on for the June 6th, for the insurrection, started last week or week before last, whenever it started and whatnot. So again, we're going to see how the players deal with this. But again, sometimes just because a mic is shoved in your face does not mean that you should say anything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you always got to say something, man. And this is what caused problems and whatnot. And your opinion and how you feel about whatever the case it may be, the way you feel about it, how you feel about it, why don't you just keep that keep that to yourself? I was told once before, less said is best said, for those that know. So it's like don't have to still run off and feel as though you got to express yourself. And people feel as though I got to say it because I'm an American citizen. I'm this, I'm that. No, if you don't. No, you don't. You go to work, and like I said, if this is in the setting of a regular job place, which is basically is, but if this is someplace else, some people get fired for stuff like that. Fired. They don't get a fine. There's no fines and that type of stuff. You get fired. You absolutely get fired and have to go back out and look for a job. So this is the problem. I say, start treating these places like it's a job, especially for those young guys coming in. Your opinion is your opinion. You ain't got to share your opinion with everybody. That ain't none of their business. I'm here to talk football. We talk football. The rest of that stuff, that's to myself. I ain't got nothing to say about that. I ain't got nothing to say. Everybody don't speak me talking about it because there's no reason to, in all actuality. Everybody's mad. Oh no, he had his right to his opinion. He has a right to his opinion. He just shouldn't have said it while he was at work, representing the Washington Commanders. That's all. So dust up, man. It all going away. It's pretty much dead now and whatnot. But yeah, like I tell you guys all the time, just kind of slid off the stuff because I just talk about football stuff. But this was a major topic though over the past week and some change, and I'm just trying to get some stuff together to say how did we get over here, and that was it. But in actuality, for all the stuff that you see going on right now, when it comes to whether it's a holiday or whether it's not saying this, not saying that, all you have to do is thank your boy right here. Just thank your boy right there. Had that not happened, you wouldn't have seen, you more than likely, you probably wouldn't have seen this. This probably wouldn't have happened either, but you never know. And Del Rio doesn't even make a comment about this. He just be known as being a solid defensive coordinator and whatnot. You know, for being a defensive coordinator. And this soundbite and all that stuff wouldn't have happened. None of that would have happened. So, like I say, you thank your boy Chauvin for that. And I tell you guys all the time, we come back with some football news here probably a little bit later and whatnot, but I just wanted to throw that at you guys and whatnot. And like I tell you guys all the time, there's no greatest of all time. There's no GOAT as long as time is still going on. And like I say, numbers don't mind getting emotional. People do. You guys have a good one.